Hey everyone. Ever feel like your brain could use a good workout?
Uh-huh.
Well, today we're going to dive deep into something called cognitive rehearsal,
Okay.
which is basically like a mental boot camp for your brain. It helps you become a total problem-solving machine.
Wow.
We're going to be looking at this really cool book.
Okay.
It's called The Cognitive Rehearsal Effect, Unlocking Complex Problem-Solving Through Mental Training.
Okay.
And let me tell you, it's pretty mind-blowing stuff.
It's fascinating stuff.
I'm learning a lot, so I'm really curious.
Yeah.
What exactly cognitive rehearsal?
So cognitive rehearsal is basically
Right.
when you intentionally practice
Right.
different tasks or scenarios,
Uh-huh.
but you do it all in your mind.
Oh,
Like imagine a basketball player
okay.
mentally practicing their free throws.
Right.
You're essentially doing mental reps to get your brain ready for the real deal.
So it's like mental practice?
Yeah.
For basically anything.
Exactly. And the coolest thing is
Yeah.
scientists have actually been able to see this in action
Yeah.
using brain imaging.
Oh, wow.
They found that when people do cognitive rehearsal, the same parts of their brain light up as if they were actually performing the task.
So you're telling me my brain can't even tell the difference
Yeah.
between actually doing something and just thinking about doing it.
It's wild, isn't it?
That's pretty amazing.
Yeah. And this all comes down to neuroplasticity,
Okay.
which is your brain's awesome ability to rewire itself based on experiences.
Oh, right.
So the more you mentally rehearse something,
Okay.
the stronger those neural connections become,
Uh-huh.
making you better and faster at the task when you actually do it.
So it's kind of like building mental muscle memory.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it.
I like it.
Yeah, and with enough mental practice,
Yeah.
you can train your brain to be super efficient
Okay.
at problem solving,
Right.
decision making, and even creative thinking.
Now, I think we've all come across problems in our lives that are just harder to solve than others.
Definitely.
What makes some mental challenges so much harder?
Well, the book goes into the neuroscience behind this.
Okay.
And one major factor is working memory.
Working memory.
Yeah, it's like your brain's mental workspace.
Okay.
Some problems simply need more working memory to process.
Right.
And this can overload your system. It's like trying to juggle too many things at once and you just drop everything.
Oh, I've totally been there.
It happens to all of us.
For sure.
Another thing is uncertainty. Our brains really love patterns and predictability.
Yeah.
So when a problem has a lot of unpredictable outcomes
Right.
or we're missing information,
Yeah.
it can really throw us off because our brains crave order.
They do.
And then there are those super complex problems.
Yes.
The ones with all these interconnected parts
Yeah.
where solving one part ends up affecting everything else.
Those are the worst.
They're definitely a challenge.
And-
They demand a different way of thinking because you have to keep adjusting your approach.
Yeah.
It's like trying to solve a puzzle, but the pieces keep changing shape on you.
So basically, if you feel stuck on a problem, it might not be that you're not smart enough.
Right.
The problem itself might just be super tough.
Exactly.
But the book does give us some ways to handle even the toughest mental challenges.
It does.
And the first one is breaking things down.
Yeah,
I'm guessing that means exactly what it sounds like.
it does.
Okay?
It's all about taking a big, overwhelming problem
Right.
and chopping it up into smaller, more manageable pieces.
Gotcha.
Like, think about eating a giant sandwich.
Okay.
You wouldn't try to cram the whole thing in your mouth at once, right?
Well, maybe I would,
Huh.
but I see your point.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
It's the same with cognitive rehearsal.
Okay.
Instead of getting overwhelmed by the size of a problem,
Right.
you break it down into smaller steps that your brain can process better. I see. This makes the whole thing less intimidating,
Right.
and you gain confidence as you conquer each step.
So it's like creating a mental checklist
Yeah,
for your brain, and then you just tackle each item one by one.
exactly.
I like it.
Good.
The book also mentions designing a mental rehearsal routine,
Yes.
which sounds a bit more strategic.
it is.
Okay.
It's like with physical training, having a plan makes your mental workouts way more effective.
That makes sense.
And the book outlines some important elements.
Okay, like what?
Well, first, you got to set clear mental goals.
What does that look like in practice?
Basically, you define the specific problem
Okay.
that you want to tackle
Right.
and the outcome that you're aiming for.
So let's say I'm preparing for a big presentation. My mental goal could be
Yeah.
delivering it clearly,
Okay.
confidently,
Yeah.
and without forgetting any key points.
Exactly. Having that specific objective helps you focus your mental energy.
It's like having a roadmap for your rehearsal.
Yeah, a mental roadmap.
But how do you actually make space in your head for this? Because life is full of distractions.
It is.
How do you block all that out and really focus?
That's where clearing cognitive space comes in.
Okay.
And it's super important.
Right.
Basically, you minimize all distractions.
Okay.
Both external and internal.
Gotcha.
So find a quiet spot.
Right.
Turn off notifications. Maybe try a quick meditation to quiet your mind.
That makes sense.
Good.
But what about those times when you sit down to rehearse and your mind just goes completely blank?
I know that feeling.
I do. It happens.
Yeah.
How do you get your brain to shift into problem-solving mode?
That's where mental priming techniques are really useful.
Mental priming techniques?
Yeah.
I never heard of that.
Well, these are cues that signal to your brain that it's time to focus.
Oh, okay.
Kind of like a mental warm-up.
So like a pre-workout routine, but for your brain? I love it.
Good.
What are some examples?
Well, you can use all sorts of cues. Maybe you always rehearse in a specific chair.
Oh, okay.
Or listen to a certain playlist to get in the zone.
Oh, I'm totally making a cognitive rehearsal playlist.
That's a great idea.
I love it.
Yeah.
What about visualization?
Yes.
Yeah.
Visualization is a powerful tool.
Okay.
It's basically picturing yourself successfully solving the problem.
So not just going through the steps in your head,
Yes.
but actually feeling the emotions of succeeding.
Exactly. Emotions play a big part in how well our brains perform. So when you visualize yourself feeling confident and successful, you're actually priming your brain to make those feelings real.
That's pretty cool.
It is. It's fascinating.
Okay, so we've got clear goals.
Yeah.
We've minimized distractions. And our brains are primed and ready to go.
Okay.
But I have a confession. I have a terrible attention span. Sometimes it feels like a goldfish. Can you actually train your brain to focus for longer?
Oh, absolutely.
Really?
The book talks about building cognitive stamina,
Okay.
just like physical endurance.
Right.
You can train your brain to focus longer.
So it's like interval training for your mind.
Exactly.
I like that.
Good.
So you start with shorter mental rehearsals?
Yeah.
And gradually make them longer and more complex?
As you get stronger.
Wow. That's actually really encouraging.
Yeah.
Even people who struggle with focus like me can improve.
You can.
Okay.
Just remember to pay attention to signs of mental fatigue.
Oh, like what?
Things like irritability or difficulty concentrating.
Gotcha.
And when you hit that wall, take a break, move around, or do something enjoyable. Recharge those mental batteries.
Love that advice. Speaking of hitting a wall,
let's
talk about failure.
Okay.
Nobody really enjoys it.
No, not really.
But it happens to all of us. Can cognitive rehearsal actually help us deal with setbacks?
Here's the cool thing.
Okay.
Cognitive rehearsal can make you a better problem solver.
Right.
But it can also help you become more resilient to failure.
Now that sounds interesting. Tell me more.
You can actually mentally rehearse how you'll handle setbacks. Like, picture yourself staying calm, analyzing what went wrong, and finding solutions even when things go wrong.
I see.
It's like a mental dress rehearsal for dealing with life's curveballs.
So it's about preparing yourself for those oh crap moments.
Yeah, exactly.
And having a plan to bounce back.
Precisely.
I like that.
Yeah, when you mentally prepare for the possibility of failure, you're less likely to be thrown off by it. And you're more likely to see it as a learning opportunity.
Wow, I'm starting to realize that cognitive rehearsal isn't just about problem-solving skills. But it also affects your whole mindset. So does the book give us any real-world examples?
It does, of cognitive rehearsal in action. It does.
Give me some examples.
Well, there's this story about aerospace engineers who used cognitive rehearsal to visualize building an entire spacecraft.
Oh, wow. Before they even started.
Yeah, before they even started building.
That's intense.
I know, right?
So what happened?
By mentally rehearsing every step, they were able to anticipate and solve problems before they even came up during the real assembly.
So they saved a ton of time and money.
Yeah.
Just by using their minds.
It's amazing, isn't it?
That is amazing.
Yeah, and there are other examples.
Okay.
The book also talks about surgeons. Who use cognitive rehearsal to mentally practice complex operations.
Oh, wow.
They visualize every step.
Anticipate
any complications. And even rehearse how they'd handle unexpected situations.
Wow, that's incredible.
It is.
I guess it makes sense. Especially in high-stakes situations like surgery.
Definitely.
But are there any examples outside of, rocket science and surgery?
Oh, definitely.
Okay, good.
The book mentions Olympic athletes using it to improve their performance.
Oh, interesting.
They visualize their routines, focus on their technique, and mentally rehearse dealing with distractions.
Right.
Or feeling pressure during competition.
It's like they're training their minds to stay focused and perform at their best.
Exactly. And artists use it too.
Oh, really? Like how?
Well, musicians might visualize their performances.
Right.
Painters might picture each brushstroke. And writers play out different scenes in their minds.
So it sounds like cognitive rehearsal can be used for basically anything.
Yeah, it's a pretty versatile technique.
That involves performance and problem solving?
Pretty much.
I bet our listeners are ready to try this out themselves.
I bet they are.
What are some key things they can start doing today?
Okay, so first, pick one specific problem that you want to work on.
Right.
Don't try to do everything at once.
Right, start small.
Yeah, focus your mental energy.
Right, what else?
You also want to schedule some time for mental rehearsal each day.
Right.
Even just 5 or 10 minutes.
That's doable.
Yeah, consistency is key.
Right.
And don't be afraid to try different priming techniques.
Okay.
Find what helps you focus. Maybe it's that playlist you mentioned.
I'm definitely working on that playlist.
Good.
So, any final advice for someone just starting out?
Be patient.
Okay.
Don't worry if you don't see results right away. Like any skill, cognitive rehearsal takes practice.
Makes sense.
Just keep at it.
Right.
And you'll be surprised what your brain can achieve.
This has been awesome.
It has.
It's incredible how much power our brains have.
It is. It's fascinating.
And how something as simple as mental rehearsal can have such a huge impact. It's really about realizing that we can shape our own cognitive destinies. We'll be right back with more from the Cognitive Rehearsal Effect after a short break. And we're back, diving deeper into the Cognitive Rehearsal Effect and all the ways it can boost your brain power. I'm still thinking about how powerful this stuff is.
It is pretty amazing what we can do with our minds.
Okay.
So, what else did you find interesting in the book?
Oh, there was this one thing about how cognitive rehearsal can be used for different types of problems.
Oh, yeah, different types.
Like those multi-step challenges that feel super overwhelming.
Definitely.
Any advice for those?
Well, the book suggests visualizing the whole process as a series of steps.
Okay.
Like a flow chart.
So instead of getting lost in the details, you create a mental map of the main stages.
Exactly.
Okay.
This helps you see the bigger picture.
Right.
Understand how everything connects. And even anticipate problems.
Okay.
Before you run into them.
So it's kind of like planning a road trip. You map out the route ahead of time.
Yeah.
So you don't get lost in the middle of nowhere.
Exactly.
Okay, that's a good analogy. Yeah. I like that. And what about...
So another interesting concept is layering solutions.
Layering solutions.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm intrigued. Tell me more.
Basically, it's about recognizing that complex problems often need more than one simple solution. You might need several interconnected solutions.
Okay.
Working together.
So like a multi-layered cake. Each layer brings something different and contributes to the overall deliciousness.
I love that analogy.
Thanks.
And cognitive rehearsal is what lets you mentally bake that cake, visualizing how all the layers work together to create a successful result.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense.
Good, good.
What about situations where you have to think on your feet? Can cognitive rehearsal help you with making quick decisions?
You know, it absolutely can.
Really?
The book actually talks about how to speed up your thinking.
Wow.
Through mental practice.
Now that's a skill.
Right?
I think we could all benefit from.
For sure.
So how do you do it?
One key technique is to simulate high-pressure scenarios in your mind.
Oh, okay.
It's like putting yourself through mental boot camp.
So you're giving your brain a taste of stress, so it's better prepared to handle it in real life.
Exactly.
Okay.
You basically train your brain to react more quickly and effectively when those situations happen.
I like to think of it as desensitizing yourself to stress. The more you experience it mentally, the less power it has over you in real life.
That's a great way to think about it.
Thanks.
Another thing you can do is practice breaking down problems into small chunks.
Okay.
And then mentally rehearse those steps really quickly.
You're basically training your brain to process information faster.
Exactly.
Got it. Visualization plays a part here too, right?
Yes. Visualization is key here.
Okay.
You picture yourself smoothly working through a problem.
Right.
Making quick decisions and finding solutions effortlessly.
You're creating a mental highlight reel.
Yeah, exactly.
Of success.
Right.
What about situations where you have to improvise? Like, can you even rehearse for spontaneity?
You might be surprised to hear this.
Okay.
But yes.
Really?
The book talks about rehearsing for spontaneity.
But how do you practice being spontaneous?
It's not about having a specific answer for every situation.
Right.
It's about mentally preparing yourself to handle a wider range of possibilities.
I see.
So you're not focusing on what to do. You're training yourself how to think on your feet.
You're building your mental improv muscle.
Exactly.
So you can roll with the punches and think of something brilliant on the spot.
Right. This is especially helpful for things like public speaking.
Right, where you might get unexpected questions.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Or any situation where you have to negotiate or resolve conflicts.
I see.
Things can change quickly in those situations.
Yeah, they do.
By rehearsing for spontaneity, you can stay calm, think clearly, and come up with solutions even under pressure.
So maybe winging it isn't always the best approach. Maybe we can prepare our brains to be more spontaneous.
It's possible.
Okay, what about creativity?
Okay.
Can cognitive rehearsal make you more creative?
Well, the book makes a strong case that it can boost your ability to come up with new ideas and find innovative solutions.
So how does that work?
Well, think of it as creating a mental playground.
Okay.
Where you can play with different ideas without any fear of judgment or failure.
You're free to experiment.
Yeah, it's like a sandbox for your imagination.
I like that.
It's not just random brainstorming.
Okay.
A key part is combining logic and creativity.
How do you balance those two?
Well, you use both sides of your brain.
Right.
The creative side and the analytical side.
Okay.
So first, you might generate a bunch of wild ideas.
Okay.
And then you use logic to evaluate them.
Got it.
Refine them. And see which ones are actually possible.
So you're brainstorming with your creative brain. And then switching to your editor brain. To shape those ideas into something real.
That's a great way to put it.
Thanks.
That back and forth can lead to some really innovative solutions.
We've covered so much. From multi-step problems to spontaneity to creativity.
Yeah.
But let's face it, sometimes our own minds can get in the way.
Oh, for sure.
We get stuck.
Yeah.
And can't think straight.
It happens.
That's a good point.
And the book has a whole section on using cognitive rehearsal to overcome cognitive blocks.
Cognitive blocks.
Yeah, those mental barriers.
Oh, okay.
That prevent us from thinking clearly.
Got it. Like what?
Well, things like fear of failure. Cognitive rigidity, which means being stuck in one way of thinking. And even mental fatigue.
Oh, yeah. I know all about that one. They can all hold us back.
They definitely can.
But how does cognitive rehearsal help us deal with these blocks?
Well, the first step is to recognize them.
Okay.
Once you're aware of them, you can address them through practice.
So if I'm struggling with fear of failure, I could visualize myself facing that fear. And overcoming it.
Yeah. Picture yourself going through those scenarios.
Okay.
Making mistakes. But bouncing back and learning from them.
It's like giving yourself a mental pep talk. Reminding yourself that failure is just part of the journey.
That's a great way to think about it.
What about cognitive rigidity?
If you get stuck in one way of thinking, cognitive rehearsal can help you explore different perspectives. And challenge your assumptions.
So you train your brain to be more flexible and open to new ideas.
Exactly.
And for mental fatigue.
Yeah.
Didn't we talk about mental interval training?
We did. That's a great way to build up your resistance to mental exhaustion.
Right. So you alternate intense focus with short breaks.
Yeah.
It's like cross-training for your brain.
Exactly.
Cognitive rehearsal can help with all these blocks.
It can.
Wow, this is eye-opening.
It is.
It's incredible how much potential we have locked away in our minds.
It's really all about empowering ourselves with the right mental tools to face any challenge.
This has been fantastic. I'm seeing cognitive rehearsal as more than just a quick fix. It's like a lifelong practice.
That can really change our brains and our lives.
It's about always learning and growing.
Yeah, constantly challenging and expanding your mind.
It's like a mental fitness routine that helps us stay sharp and adaptable.
Exactly.
That makes a lot of sense.
And the book also talks about how cognitive rehearsal strengthens our cognitive health over time.
Oh, wow.
It can improve memory, boost creativity, and even make us more resilient to stress.
Those are some serious benefits.
They are.
It sounds like cognitive rehearsal is essential for anyone who wants to do their best in today's world.
I agree.
Especially with everything changing so fast.
Definitely.
And the best part is it's available to everyone.
It is.
You don't need special equipment or expensive training.
Yeah, you just use your mind.
That's what I love about it. We all have this ability inside us.
It's powering, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah.
It's about taking control of our cognitive abilities.
Exactly.
I also love how it aligns with the idea of lifelong learning. It encourages us to be curious, to embrace challenges, to never stop learning.
It's about more than just solving problems.
Right.
It's about becoming the best versions of ourselves.
The most creative, adaptable, and resilient thinkers we can be.
Exactly.
I love that. This deep dive has been amazing.
It has.
I'm looking at cognitive rehearsal in a whole new way. It's like a transformative journey.
Yeah.
Not just a set of techniques. It leads to better problem solving.
Definitely.
But also a deeper understanding of our minds.
Yes.
And more control over our lives.
It's powerful stuff.
It is. We've got one more segment left in this deep dive, so stay tuned.
We'll be right back.
Welcome back to the deep dive. We're wrapping up our exploration of cognitive rehearsal. This has been one of the most mind-expanding deep dives we've ever done.
It really shows you that we have a lot more control over our cognitive abilities than we might think.
Yeah. It's not about being born smart.
Right.
We can train our brains to become better thinkers.
Exactly.
You know, one of the things that has really stuck with me is how cognitive rehearsal isn't just about solving problems. It's about having a growth mindset and realizing how amazing and flexible our brains really are.
That's so important.
Yeah.
The book really emphasizes that cognitive rehearsal is most effective when it's part of a bigger picture.
Okay.
You know, a commitment to lifelong learning and mental development.
So it's not a one-time fix.
Right. It's an ongoing thing, constantly challenging yourself and pushing your mind to grow.
So like a mental fitness routine.
Exactly.
Okay.
It helps us stay sharp and adaptable.
Throughout our lives.
Throughout our lives, yeah.
The book actually mentions that mental rehearsal can make our brains healthier in the long run.
It can.
Right.
It can improve memory.
Okay.
Enhance creativity. Even make us more resilient to stress.
Wow, those are some serious benefits.
They are.
I mean, it sounds like cognitive rehearsal is super valuable for anyone.
It is.
Anyone who wants to thrive.
Yeah, especially in today's world.
Right, where things change so quickly.
Absolutely.
And what I love is that anyone can do it.
It's true.
You don't need any special equipment or expensive classes.
Yep.
It's all about using your own mind.
That's the best part.
To shape your abilities.
It's pretty amazing, isn't it?
It is. And I really like how cognitive rehearsal connects with the idea of always learning.
It's true.
It encourages us to be curious, to take on challenges, and to just keep learning and growing.
It's not just about solving problems.
Right.
It's about becoming better.
Yeah.
More creative, more adaptable.
And resilient.
Yeah, the best versions of ourselves.
This whole deep dive has been a game changer for me.
I'm glad to hear that.
Cognitive rehearsal. It's not just a bunch of techniques.
No.
It's like a journey.
A journey, exactly.
That helps us become better problem solvers.
Yes.
But also helps us understand our minds better.
And have more control over our lives.
This has been an amazing exploration of cognitive rehearsal.
It has.
If you want to learn more, definitely check out The Cognitive Rehearsal Effect, Unlocking Complex Problem Solving Through Mental Training.
It's a great book, full of research, practical tips, and really inspiring stories.
It'll help you understand this amazing technique even better. And remember, start small.
Small steps.
Yeah. Be consistent.
Consistency is key.
And don't ever underestimate your own mind.
That's right.
That's all the time we have for today's deep dive.
It's been fun.
It has. Thanks for joining us. Until next time, keep diving deep.